Ranni's questline is one of the best and longest quests in Elden Ring. It requires a lot of steps to complete, but today I will be guiding you through the entire quest in this quick and easy guide so you'll get those exclusive quest rewards such as the badass and strong Darkmoon Blade, one of the coolest sets in the game which is the Snow Witch set, and cool ending as well. Plus you get to know what happened to her. First things first, this quest is intertwined with other NPCs such as Blaidd and Seluvis, but for the sake of the video and to make this guide concise, I have just included the necessary steps to progress the quest. If the dialogues are your concerns, no worries about that, I will be making a separate video for it. And with that out of the way, let's get right to it. Step 1 is meeting Ranni. This is rather optional, but I felt that it is only proper to include your first meeting with Ranni to start the quest. You can skip to step 2 if you want to save time, and at the very start of the game, go to the Church of Elden and touch the Site of Grace and proceed to the next destination, which is the Gatefront Ruins Site of Grace, to first meet Melina and get your Spectre Steed, which is Torrent. After getting Torrent, transfer back to the Church of Elden and meet Ranni for the first time and get the Spirit Calling Bell and the Lone Wolf Ashes, and note that she only appears here during the nighttime, so you need to pass the time. Exhaust her dialogue until she vanishes. Step 2 is swearing oath to Ranni. For step 2, we can find Ranni in the Three Sisters area located in the western part of Carrion Manor. To access Carrion Manor from the 4 belfries, just head north passing War Counselor EG and you will eventually spot the said manor. Head in and progress in the dungeon, and a pretty straightforward path that we have here, and the goal here is to reach the upper area of the manor. Reach and defeat the boss in here, which is Loretta, and proceed to the Three Sisters and eventually find Ranni in her tower, the Ranni's Rise. Swear your oath to Ranni and you will eventually be introduced to your colleagues under her service. Talk to each and one of them and exhaust all of their dialogues to proceed. Step 2.5, Altus Plateau Site of Grace Skip. This time we can skip a significant amount of steps in Ranni's questline by activating the Dectus lift and resting in any Altus Plateau Site of Grace and fast forwarding everything to the Radahn fight. But first we need to get 2 Dectus medallions for the lift to work, and for the first half, starting for the Third Church of America, we will be heading to Fort Farrot located in the eastern section of Caelid. This will be a long road, so buckle up. Access the Hidden Way Gate behind the Third Church of America. This will lead you to the Bestial Sanctum north of Caelid. Head south and follow the path here towards the Farum Great Bridge. Past the bridge, behind the minor earth tree, there's an upstream that we need to ride to access the upper part of the area where Fort Farrot is located. Access the Site of Grace and head inside the fortress. Climb the ladder and eventually find the right part of the medallion. After getting the first half, travel back to the Third Church of America, and the left part of the medallion is located in Fort Height. Head south and follow the path. Eventually, you will come across Mistwood. Outside the woods lies the fort, and touch the side of grace and head inside of Fort Height. Access the upper floor and climb the ladder in the tower, and at the end of it, open the chest to get the left part of the medallion. Now that we do have the Dectus medallion, it is time to head to the Dectus lift. The lift is located at the end of Velum Highway, and our starting point is Raya Lucar's Academy's main gate. And to access this area, you must first get the glintstone key so you can get through Raya Lucar's seals. More into that in the description if you haven't gotten the key. Now access the seal to be transported to Velum Highway. Follow the path here past the knight's entitlements. Be careful getting hit by the catapults while you are on your way. They hit hard, and the Dectus lift is hard to miss due to its ground structure. Hop onto the Dectus lift and use the medallion, and eventually reaching Altus Plateau in the process. Next is resting in the nearest side of grace to activate this skip. After this, we just skipped the Siofra River part with Blaidd, meeting Selene and Seluvis dialogue regarding Nokron. That's really a huge skip, so we can now head straight to Redmane Castle for Radahn's festival. Step 3 is defeating Radahn in his festival. Step 3 requires us to defeat Radahn in Redmane Castle. The castle can be found in the southeastern part of Caelid. This is a very short level, and proceed by climbing a ladder in the back of the castle. Past the main courtyard, and you will eventually find Blaidd where the festival is being held. Talk to him and participate in the festival by talking to Jaran. Proceed to the boss area and face Radahn. After defeating Radahn, watch the cutscenes where the stars will fall, revealing the entrance to our next destination. Step 4 is getting the Fingerslayer blade. For step 4, Nokron is our next stop. To find the entrance, let's start at Fort Height west side of Grace. The entrance of Nokron lies beneath where the stars fell. This is going to be a long road but a fun exploration indeed. Head your way down to the entrance and thread the structures in here to eventually access the inner parts of Nokron. Soon you will be facing the Mimic as a boss and defeat it and continue your way to the inner section of Nokron. After passing the long bridge, hug the left part of the woods and eventually see the Ancestral Woods side of Grace. Activate it so you can access it later and jump your way on the ancient structure's beams. Follow my path here until you eventually reach Nokron grounds. Activate the Nighttake Ground side of Grace and head straight to the giant throne. And finally get the Fingerslayer blade. return to Ranni and hand over the blade. Receive the Karian inverted statue that corresponds to a different NPC quest. Step 5 is defeating the Baleful shadow. For step 5, after giving the blade to Ranni, reload your character and Ranni will move on to our next location. To access it, go to Renna's Rise not far from Ranni's tower, climb your way up, and eventually get the treasure chest behind you as soon as you get off the ladder. There you have it, the Snow Witch robe, which is a pretty nice outfit. Use the teleporter on the top floor and eventually be transported to the Astel River main map. You will find the miniature Ranni doll in one of the coffins here and rest in the nearest site of grace and talk to the doll 3 times. Ranni will instruct you to hunt the Baleful shadow lurking around Noxtella Waterfall Basin site of grace, which is our next destination. This is going to be a long run and head to the intersection of Astel River main, passing the long caves and waterways. Eventually, you will reach the Noxtella, which is one of the best places in the game. Thread the city grounds passing the mimics. Ride the lift that will lead you to the Waterfall Basin side of grace. Rest here and head further into the area and find the Baleful shadow. Defeat this guy and Ranni will give you her thanks and the discarded palace key. We are nearing the end, but before anything else, if you are in straight to the point guides, tips and tricks like this one, or you just love Japanese role-playing games, you are in the right place. Consider subscribing to the channel and enjoy weekly content, and liking the video will help me more than you can imagine. Now for step 6, we need to get the Darkmoon ring. It may be a long step since it requires beating the boss in Raya Lucaria Academy, which is Rennala. If you completed it already, teleport your way back to Grand Library and use the discarded palace key to unlock the chest beside Rennala and get the Darkmoon ring. If you haven't completed Raya Lucaria, check the description section below on how to access it and complete the level. Step 7 is defeating Astel, the Natural Born. Now step 7 is crossing the Lake of Rot and finding the next boss that we need to defeat. Transfer back to the Waterfall Basin side of grace and move into the inner section of the map and eventually reach the Lake of Rot shoreside side of grace. Activate it and cross the lake and ensure you do have a lot of flasks of Crimson Tears to replenish your health. The bad news is that there's no other way of crossing this putrid Scarlet Rot Lake safely and you just need to deal with it. Head straight to the entrance of Grand Cloister and you can safely access the lower grounds by jumping on broken temple beams. Upon reaching the ground, run straight to the temple entrance and take a sharp left to find our ride, which is a coffin. Hop on it and be transferred to the boss area. Head to the fog door and defeating Astel will make us to proceed into our last area. He's kinda advanced, but nothing that you cannot deal with, so good luck defeating him. Step 8 is be Ranni's Consort. Now the 8th and final step is the most fun one, and after the fight with Astel, head straight to the lift and ride it so you can access the surface. Welcome to the Moonlight Altar. It's one of the greatest places in here in my opinion. Touch the nearest grace and head your way to the Cathedral Mano Celeste. You may ignore the fight with Adula, the same dragon here in the Three Sisters, because it will vanish there and it will be transferred here. Inside the cathedral, touch the side of grace and head into the ground hole. Proceed until you see Ranni in flesh again and put the ring on her finger to finally complete the questline. Congratulations, and after her dialogue, she will vanish and leave the Darkmoon Greatsword. Congratulations again on completing Ranni's questline. Now what is left is triggering Ranni's special ending after defeating the final bosses in this game. And that's about it, my lords and ladies. A long but worthwhile journey with Ranni, and I tried to make it as concise as possible, so stay tuned for the full version of this quest with all the dialogues in it. I hope you find this guide useful, and if you learn a thing or two, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Drop your questions below and I will get to it as soon as I can. And once again, this is JRPG Samurai. Stay awesome and safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.